You open your phone at 2 a.m. Your eyes adjust to the blinding light as you start scrolling, passing the same 5 arguments, the same 3 trend cycles, the same collective exhaustion. You close the app, stare at the ceiling, and feel that familiar, dull ache, the sensation that everything is slightly broken and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We live in a world where you're forced to pretend that you understand the rules of a game that changes every 5 seconds, nodding along to conversations about interest rates or algorithm shifts, while quietly wondering when exactly you lost the energy to care. You probably didn't even notice it happen. That's the most terrifying part. It wasn't a dramatic moment where your spark died in a tragic explosion of adulthood. It was a slow, quiet erosion. You liked a song, and someone called it cringe, so you deleted it from your playlist. You had a weird question about how something worked, but you stopped yourself from asking because everyone else seemed to already know. You traded your genuine, messy curiosity for a sanitized, socially acceptable version of yourself. You stopped wondering and started performing. Think about the last time you saw a 6-year-old kid. I mean, really watch them. I was at the beach recently, helping my 10-year-old brother dig a massive hole in the sand. Another kid, maybe 6 or 7, wandered over and asked to help. He brought over a tiny plastic dump truck and a plastic shovel, the absolute worst tools imaginable for serious excavation. While I was hacking away at the sand, trying to dig an industrially efficient hole, this kid was just happily scooping tiny piles into his truck. But the things he was saying, he asked with complete sincerity how we were going to fit a TV into our hole. He wanted to know what we would buy when we inevitably found buried treasure. He asked if we dug far enough, would we actually hit China? And if we did, who was going to go first because none of us spoke the language? My immediate adult reaction was to think, shut up, kid. There's no treasure. And how would you even plug in a TV down here? But I stopped myself. I indulged him. I told him we'd split the treasure 3 ways. I realized, watching him, that he was doing it right, and I was doing it wrong. He had this raw, unfiltered spirit. He wasn't worried about the physics of underground televisions or the geopolitical implications of tunneling to China. He was just playing. And it hit me with this crushing wave of sadness, because I realized that in a decade or 2, that spirit will be entirely gone. He'll be my age, and he'll know all the answers. He won't ask how to power a TV in a hole. He'll be stressed about his credit score, working a job he tolerates, and after paying a burrito just to feel something. The world will chip away at him until he only likes the things he's supposed to like, thinks the thoughts he's told to think, and measures his worth by the stuff he owns. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy talking to a microphone in my bedroom. For real, though, this is the path we're all on. We drift further from that childlike wonder and closer to the cold, mechanical rhythm of the machine. We let the world kill our spirit. You trim yourself down to fit into the box the world built for you. You swallow your questions because not knowing something is seen as shameful. You outsource your brain to the crowd because thinking for yourself is risky and agreeing is easy. When we are kids, we don't have carefully curated opinions. We just have reactions. You like the blue popsicle because it tastes blue. If you're a real one, you go for the red, white, and blue rocket pops. Unless, of course, that was just like the American military-industrial complex, conditioning my young, impressionable mind to associate patriotism with high fructose corn syrup. In which case, I guess I'll have to wait for my Lockheed Martin sponsorship to roll in. But seriously, kids just like what they like. There's no internal committee holding a meeting in your brain to determine if a hobby is aesthetic enough or if a movie is critically acclaimed. You just vibe with it. I used to listen to the most objectively trash radio slop country music. Songs about tractors, cheap beer, and dirt roads. I knew every word. I sang them in a fake Southern accent. My favorite movie was Over the Hedge because the squirrel was funny. I didn't care about Rotten Tomatoes scores. I was that annoying kid in the car asking my mom the dumbest questions. Why is that tree bent? How does that car make that noise? What does that smell like? I was probably a nightmare to travel with, but I was observing. I was trying to figure out the world. And then, somewhere down the line, that internal committee shows up. You start running your opinions through a filter. Is this cool? Will people think I'm an idiot? Is this cringe? We've become so terrified of being perceived as cringe that we've paralyzed ourselves. We adopt the safest opinions. We stop asking questions. That kid at the beach asked if we'd hit China because he legitimately wanted to know, and he wasn't embarrassed by his lack of geological knowledge. Adults learn the opposite lesson. We learn to nod along, pretending we understand the conversation about crypto or global supply chains, rather than admit we have no idea what's going on. Every time you swallow a question out of fear of looking dumb, a tiny piece of your spirit dies. Think about the most magnetic, compelling people you know. They aren't the ones who are flawlessly cool or perfectly trendy. They are the ones who didn't lose the spark. The ones who are intensely, almost awkwardly passionate about something, regardless of whether you care or not. I have a buddy who is obsessively into denim. Aggressively into jeans. He tracks down obscure companies, knows exactly where the cotton is sourced, how it's dyed, and how it's stitched. He goes on these long, passionate rants about how the true art of denim making is dead and how modern brands are peddling garbage. And half the time, I'm sitting there thinking, bro, what are you even talking about? They're pants. But you know what? If I ever need to know what jacket to buy or how to tell if a piece of clothing will actually last, he is the only person I call. His obsession might be weird to some people. They might call it cringe. But he does not care. He loves it, and that passion is infectious. His whole family is kind of like that. They might be a bit odd by societal standards, but they are fully, unapologetically themselves. They have the spark. There is an immense freedom in that. It's the same freedom you had when you were 6. By chasing that spark, you can actually find joy in this increasingly bleak world. So, stop performing. Like what you like simply because you like it, not because it's the current meta. Ask the stupid question. Admit when you don't know something. Anyways, that's just my observation. It takes work to undo the conditioning. For me, I've had to force myself to slow down. I've started trying to actively notice the physical world instead of just staring at the digital one. I've noticed a family of hawks living near my apartment. I watch them when I walk my dog. I've noticed these 2 white ibis birds that dig for bugs in the grass every single morning. God, I'm getting old. I'm literally talking about bird watching on the internet. It's truly all downhill from here. But honestly, observing these small things makes me ask questions again. Why do all 3 of those full-grown hawks share the same nest? When are the mangoes on my neighbor's tree going to be ripe enough for me to steal them over the fence in the middle of the night? You have to force yourself to pay attention. Look out your window right now. Seriously, what do you see? Describe it in the comments. It sounds trivial, but this active observation is the foundation of regaining your spirit. Because keeping that spark isn't just about hobbies or asking questions. It's about approaching life with a sense of play. We are constantly told that life is a grind. The grind set. The hustle. Everything has to be optimized for maximum output. You don't just go to the gym, you grind at the gym. You lift heavy things until you want to pass out because you're trying to level up your stats like a video game character, and you have to get huge so people will respect you. That sounds completely miserable to me. I love the gym, and I'm in the best shape of my life, but I don't treat it like a grind. I treat it like a game. I mix it up. I do yoga, I lift weights, I play tennis, I run. Some weeks I only play tennis. I'm not a pro athlete, and I'm not the most shredded guy in the room, but I'm actually having fun. My body feels good. I move with the flow of what I want to do that day. I treat this channel the same way. I'm not grinding out 30 hyper-optimized videos a week to maximize algorithmic growth. I'm exploring. I'm moving with the tide. Stop taking yourself so incredibly seriously. Play. There is no final destination where everything is suddenly perfect. All you have is this exact moment. Stop sacrificing today for a hypothetical future that might never arrive. Try new things. Do you know how intensely awkward it was for me to walk into a Pilates class? A guy who has never done Pilates walking into a room full of women who do it every day? Extremely uncomfortable. But I wanted to try it, and now I actually really enjoy it. Fun fact, Pilates was invented by a guy anyway. Join a weird rec league, even if you have zero coordination. Go to a coffee shop and order a drink you can't pronounce. Life should be an ongoing experiment. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. It's hard to play when the world feels like it's collapsing, and I get it. The world is heavy right now. Deranged old men are running things into the ground. We are being squeezed by a system designed to extract every last drop of value from us. The economy is a mess. The algorithm is feeding us brain rot slop, and most of us feel like we'll never own a home. It is incredibly easy to adopt the doomer mindset. Why try when the game feels rigged? But here's the harsh truth that people don't want to hear. The future has never been certain. Certainty is an illusion. For a tiny microscopic sliver of human history, mostly during our parents' and grandparents' generations, in a few specific parts of the world, things were stable. You could get a job, keep it for 40 years, buy a house with a white picket fence, retire with a pension, and die peacefully. They sold us that anomaly as the default reality. But for the vast majority of human existence, the world has been chaotic and terrifying. In the 1300s, some fleas decided to catch a ride on some rats and wiped out half the population. If a swarm of locusts ate your crops, your entire family just starved. That was life. We are just returning to the historical norm of wobbliness. Things are shaking, yes, but they have always been shaking. We just pretended they weren't. Giving up your spirit because things are trending downward is a waste of the only life you have. Hope is literally the only thing that has kept humanity moving forward through thousands of years of chaos. You have two choices. You can embrace the uncertainty, protect yourself where you can, and keep moving forward with hope. Or you can become a doomer, rotting away in your room while complaining about the collapse of society on the internet. And frankly, being a doomer is boring. So why not just keep playing the game? Why not see what happens next? Life is a dance, not a march to the grave. Stop letting this chaotic, loud, broken world take your spirit. Weed out the algorithm trash burning out your dopamine receptors. Look around. Ask stupid questions. Play the game on your own terms. Try to approach tomorrow like a kid digging a hole in the sand, wondering what you'll do when you finally find the treasure. Challenge yourself. Find one reason to have hope for the future, and if you can't think of one, try harder. Put it in the comments below, because your tiny sliver of hope might be the exact thing someone else needs to read today. If you connect with this, consider joining the Discord linked below to help build a community that actually cares. And if you want to support this channel staying free of corporate sponsorships and AI-generated noise, you can become a member, and we will talk again soon.